I'd love to talk about what I call the artistic process. The artistic process. Look, having studied the fine arts as an undergraduate and a graduate student, I have some familiarity with the quote-unquote artistic process. And when I speak about this, this is what I like to begin with, by explaining that, of course, and I think we all know that, art is wonderful in all its many forms, right? It's beautiful, it's inspiring, it's life-giving. That's what we have with the final product. But of course, getting there, the artistic process is messy. It can look like a disaster. It can try your nerves and your sanity. I often talk to, when I meet with couples for marriage prep, I explain this to them. You, the married people out here, the veterans of war, you know this much too well. I tell them, marriage is an art. It's wonderful, it's beautiful, it can be inspiring, it's life-giving, but it requires a process which is unbelievably messy, unbelievably chaotic, unbelievably trying, like every art form. If you ever attend, let's say, a play rehearsal, right? What you're gonna find quite often is madness. Actors forgetting their lines, going to the wrong place on stage. Sometimes the tempo of a scene can be deadly. It's so slow, it'll kill you. It drives directors crazy. And all of that needs to be worked on. If you ever, attend the music rehearsal, we have the choir up here. The choir always sounds beautiful, and I'm sure they sound good when they rehearse, but they don't sound as good probably as when they sing up here at Mass, because it's a work in progress. A lot of times they might be off in their harmonies, their tempo could be off, right? Somebody might sing the wrong part, etc., etc. If you ever watch, an artist, a guy in front of a canvas at work, you see how he begins, and sometimes you say, oh man, what do you have for dinner last night? It looks like indigestion on the canvas. Where's the beauty? And little by little, it begins to, take some kind of sensible form, right? If you ever watch a sculptor at work, it's like being in the midst of Hiroshima, right? There's rubble everywhere. It looks like an explosion went off. And, you say, what that guy's creating is a deformity. It requires a lot of blood, sweat, tears, patience, perseverance, focus. Well, listen, life is art. The purpose of our lives, right, is to shed beauty that will inspire, beauty that will give life. In other words, the purpose of our life is to bear life-giving fruit. That's why the Lord explains that parable in the gospel today, why he shares it with the crowds and he explains its meaning in depth to his apostles. He is not only explaining the purpose of life, but he's explaining the artistic process. He's describing it. And, in so many areas of our lives, what the Lord explains in that parable accompanies us. There are realities that we are called to work on that, by God's grace, we wind up, persevering with them, and we wind up yielding beauty and good fruit and inspiring life that animates others. And then there are a lot of other realities that maybe we have that call, but that we can't handle the mess. We can't handle the difficulty. We abandon ship. We begin to take on a little bit of those different types of seeds, right, that the Lord explains in the parable. Sometimes there are realities that come into our life that the Lord may want us to embrace, that we are running, so ragged, we're running so much like a chicken without a head. We live so fast that, we don't even give it 2 seconds of thought to embrace those realities. Sometimes it's a blur. We missed it. We blew it because we missed it. It's like missing an exit on the, on the highway. There are some realities that, we say, man, this is good. I need to do this. Well, I can think about that every time I see my doctor. He says, well, you got to lose, if you lose so much weight, these levels will be better. And I'm like, okay, good. And, I start to do it, but of course it's hard to lay off the Haagen-Dazs and lay off the pasta and lay off the this, that, and the other thing. And, and I abandon ship. We abandon ship very quickly, on a lot of realities that we know, this is good. I need to do this in my life. Right? And then there are other realities. There are other realities that we actually begin to work with, and we actually are willing to sacrifice for, but a lot of times we compromise that good fruit that we can yield, the beauty that we can shed, simply because we don't want to abandon other realities that can compromise it. We think, no, I'm going to make this work, and it's hard. It's hard. Those are the thorns and the thistles. Those are the realities that choke, what we're trying to bring about. We're unwilling to leave certain things behind. And consequently, the product gets compromised. And we wind up quite often flustered. That's our lives. And of course, the call is to try to find that good soil, to discern throughout our journey of life. And perhaps this Sunday, this gospel passage may animate us to reflect a little bit on what have we blown? What great opportunities did we pass up, or with which did we abandon ship, or which did we compromise by our unwillingness to let go of other realities that really could not be in harmony with that? What made us do that? What made us do that? And to also reflect on those moments, those stages of life, those particular realities where we actually bore fruit, where we gave life. And what did we do? How did we get it right? What was part of that? Very, very important. Life is art. Life is beauty. And if we're called to live the life that the Lord summons us to live, because it's very simple. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to be at peace. He wants us to be, thriving, teeming with life within ourselves. If that's the case, we should look like a work of art. We should our lives should reflect the beauty, the glory, the creativity, the vibrancy of God. We who are made in His image and likeness. Of course, that's always going to be somewhat compromised, and that requires, like any form of art, tremendous perseverance, dedication, patience, focus, and help from above. Let us ask the Lord to continue animating us, motivating us, so that our lives will reflect good fruit, beauty, and not anything that would be less than that. My dear friends, let us now stand and